My interest in reading expanded greatly after I discovered manga. The Japanese comics appealed to me because I read a lot of traditional American comics like Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. When I found Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z by Akira Toriyama at the bookstore, I was hooked. My mom would bring us to a Books A Million back in the day, and we would just walk around and look at all the sections and books, and probably each pick out something. The day that I walked down the comics manga section did it for me. I think that first day I ended up getting 3 or 4 books. The first in the line of Dragon Ball. I would spend the entire 30-minute drive home just digging into these books. Most of the time, I would finish anything that we bought before we got home. My mom was always mad that I did that because we would have to go get like a new book that much sooner, but she did it anyways and did it over and over again for 42 books that spanned the entire Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z line. All she was caring about was that I was reading and ingesting language. My growing collection of these manga books opened a lot of different avenues for my literacy in different parts of my life. For example, I spent a lot of time with art, but specifically got more into character art and drawing more frequently because I was so interested in the characters from all these books that I was reading. I would sit at home and read one of the Dragon Ball books, then just sit and draw for hours and hours, and I slowly got better and started to feel how to make the character look actually like the one in the book. And then I moved on to, making some more of my own characters and other works, and eventually my drawing got so good that this is where I am today, and I have manga to thank for that. Because if I wasn't so intrigued about drawing the characters that I was reading every single day, I wouldn't want to progress as far as I have. Another avenue that reading Japanese manga took me down was the respect for Japanese culture and this new format of language. Reading a manga book is reversed from American comics because you have the English text, but it's presented a little differently. Typically, you read left to right and top to bottom, but in reading manga, you traverse the page from top to bottom still, but you start at the right and move left. This is a unique way to read because comics have panels and dialogue bubbles, and you have to pay attention to the order you're reading everything to understand the story and chain of events. Something as trivial as that change was a great way to stretch my young mind. One day while I was reading some Dragon Ball in class, my history teacher came up to me and asked me, if I knew why those became so popular and around what time they became popular. And what he told me was that it was all the atomic bomb destruction, the power that they observed over in Nagasaki and Hiroshima kind of inspired them to create a new way to feel proud of themselves, and they developed these characters that had awesome, amazing, explosive powers, and that was always so interesting to me. So I became really intrigued by the Japanese culture and their way of life because they had this way to combat tragedy by turning it into a really positive thing that a lot of kids like myself got so interested in and became better people because of it. Japanese manga definitely has been a cornerstone in my literacy. I can say that with certainty.